Hello there, family.
Hi, guys.
I didn't see you there. And welcome back to another edition of the Crenshaw Corner. I am your host, Sanchez Crenshaw, and as always, I am joined by the absolute best part of my day.
That's me, y'all. That's me.
The apple of my eye.
I am.
The wind beneath my wings.
I did a good win.
You did a good win.
You like it?
It wasn't a dying chicken that time.
Yeah, that
it was really good. The rib that completes me.
You're completed.
I am.
You are completed.
The Pamela to my Bobby.
Who?
Pamela, Bobby.
Is this a movie? Okay, you got to say, like, is it a show? Is it a movie?
Can't do that. That'll be too easy.
Oh my God.
You got,
Pamela.
okay, little brother of one of the best, worst villains to ever be on the TV screen.
No, baby, no.
Cliff Clavin.
Who?
Cliff, you're just like your daddy, a drunk and a bum.
Nope. Nope.
One of the things that
Are you gonna keep doing this like this?
I'm
gonna
saying,
make me know.
it was the greatest mystery on television. Who shot his brother?
Dallas.
There you go.
Dallas.
There you go.
Why you took it back though?
Sometimes you got to.
Jeez.
Sometimes
you should have said Dynasty.
Why would I do that?
I like Dynasty.
But I watched Dallas.
Dynasty's a better show.
Actually, it's not.
It was.
There is no better person than J.R. Ewing.
Okay, we're gonna do that first.
We're gonna
of all,
do that.
J.R. been stabbed, shot, kicked. No.
What they got to do with it?
No. Dynasty.
No greater villain.
Okay.
Got a small question for you.
Yes.
Are you going to tell the family who you are?
I am going to tell the people, but I was trying to let you know about Dynasty.
No, don't do that.
What's going on, family? What is going on, guys? I am Angela Crenshaw. Guys, what is going on?
That is my wife, family.
Hey, family.
That is my wife.
What's up?
Family is always, we want to begin by saying thank you.
Thank you.
For our new family members.
Yes.
Welcome to the family.
Welcome to the family, guys.
However you're listening, whether it's iTunes, whether it's Podbean, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Google Podcasts, whether it's Amazon Music, whether it's iHeartRadio, or on our own personal website at www.thecrenshawcorner.com.
Yes.
We thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, family.
For our returning family members.
Returner.
You already know how we feel about
what happened
you.
To my voice? What just went wrong?
I think you're still going through puberty. I think you're still growing.
I lost the voice.
I think you're still growing.
Okay, thanks.
We're going to go with that.
Yes. Carry on, my love. Carry on.
For our returning family members, you know how we feel about you.
We love you.
Now, for our new family members, understand.
Mm-hmm.
We thank you.
Yes.
We honor you.
Yes.
We are so grateful that you took a chance on the Crenshaw Corner. But there's just something about the returning family members who've been there with us. It's been 18, 19 months?
18, 19 months.
Crazy that we've been doing this.
Y'all keep coming back and back and back and inviting people.
And keep inviting
to listen.
people.
So I'm appreciative.
And it's a beautiful thing.
It is a
Thank
beautiful
you for
thing.
that.
Thank you so much.
And as always, welcome to the cookout.
Yes.
Make sure you bring some aluminum foil so you can wet bag.
Take something with you.
So you can take something with you.
Now, but wait. Now, I just want to tell the new family members, because first of all, they're going to be like, well, how we want to be the family. How did we become family? Because you listened. And because you listen, you are officially family. Not only that, but if you listen again next week, guess what?
You're a returner.
You're a returning family member.
That's
so
right.
That's how it's going to work.
And we truly appreciate you.
We do appreciate you so much.
And like we said, welcome to the cookout. Bring your aluminum foil so you can take something with you.
A Crenshaw nugget.
A Crenshaw nugget, a different perspective.
Aha moment.
Just take something with you.
Take something with you. Yeah.
Now, family, also, we consider ourselves an interactive podcast.
I'm excited about this.
Which means we can be found on the socials.
Yes.
We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook.
We tweet. Don't try to say it fast.
I'm trying to say it fast to get over that.
No, and we're bookers.
Because you keep making up words.
I'm not. We're Instas. We tweet.
I'm going to say it one more time.
And we're bookers.
There is no such thing as an Insta. There's no such thing as a booker.
It is.
All in the Crenshaw Corner.
The family agrees with me.
I'm going to just overlook that.
Okay, great.
All in the Crenshaw Corner. And of course, you can email us at any time at thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com.
Yes.
Once again, thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com.
Or what's our new platform?
And also, just in case you didn't know,
we're
officially YouTubers.
Yes.
You can find the Crenshaw Corner on YouTube.
Yes, we got
a
station.
Please,
what are we calling that?
It's a channel.
Why I keep saying station? Then?
I don't know.
Okay, we got a channel.
Yeah, we're not on your local television. We're on Al Gore's internet. So
we should be though. We should be on TV. We should be. Y'all work on that, family. Y'all work on that. Go ahead and do a petition.
So please go to our YouTube channel. It's the Crenshaw Corner. Watch a video. Make sure you share, like, subscribe, comment. Click that notification bell so you can be notified when new videos are uploaded.
Come on now.
Now, family, as you can see, we kind of went quickly through the introduction. Normally, the introduction is about 73 minutes long.
It's not 70.
Because my wife is always prolonging stuff.
Don't do that. It's not cool.
But family, we are so
honored and excited.
We are honored, and family, understand that.
Oh my goodness!
Every time we have a guest that we bring to you, the people that we bring to you, the family that we bring to you, we always tell you how much we care about them, how much we love them.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let you behind a little secret, let you behind the veil just a little bit. The couple that we're talking to today, and everyone we've talked to, we love you, family. Everyone we talk to, everyone we're gonna talk to, we love you.
We love you guys.
But this couple here, surpasses all. Yeah. And it's simply because this family here, half of this couple I've known literally all my life. So what we're doing,
she got all the tea, y'all. Yeah. I'm gonna ask some questions while I got the mic too. Auntie got all the tea.
She watched me come into this world. So family, I have the privilege and the pleasure of introducing actually my blood, we share DNA. This is an amazing thing. So I'm not going to prolong this. So if you two could simply introduce yourselves, I'm going to start with my wonderful auntie.
Yes. Thank you, first of all, for inviting us to be on your podcast today. It is an honor to be here. I am Constance Melody Jan Scott. I'm giving you my
auntie. Did you get the entire name, auntie?
Name.
I love it. Yes. I've always loved my auntie's name.
I always love to hear when people call me Mrs. Scott. I love to be called Mrs. Scott.
Come on, Mrs. Scott.
So I am Sanchez's aunt. I am Angela's aunt. I love both of them with all my heart. They are good people because they're part of me. That makes them good people.
I love it.
I was born and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina. I currently live in Concord, North Carolina. And my life is wonderful. It's changing. It has changed. It's challenging still. God is still working. He's still developing me. He's still growing me. And I'm allowing him to do his work.
All right, I
love it.
Now you can hear from my husband because I'll keep going. And
listen,
we're going to give you that opportunity too.
Listen to me. I want to. Can I introduce Uncle?
You want to introduce Uncle?
Can I introduce Uncle?
Uncle can't introduce himself.
No, I just wanted to say this one thing about
what
Uncle.
You want to say?
We about to introduce Uncle, but like he ain't got no name, Uncle Wardell. It's Uncle. But this is the man this is the happiest I've ever. In the 22 years that I've been in this family, seeing my auntie, this man has I can't even explain the joy of my auntie. Right. She got the joy of the Lord, but she got this Uncle Wardell who has put an extra pep in her step. So I just wanted to put that out there. I'm sorry, Uncle. Go ahead. Introduce yourself.
Okay, I like that too. My name is Wardell Scott, and I was born in New York, in Harlem, and I was raised up in the Bronx, but I have a wonderful wife. It took me a long time to search for a wife, and the Bible said a man who finds a wife finds a good thing.
Yes, sir.
So it was kind of hard. I mean, and then again I was asking him, why you didn't give me a long time ago?
Right.
Waiting until I went through all this here, and here she comes.
Right.
I was ready then.
it was amazing how we got together.
Yeah.
God had told me when I was actually crying, actually laying down, Lord, why I can't find the right woman.
Right.
And he said, a woman came from a man's rib, and he said that rib that we took from you, you would know her because she's gonna love you just as much as she loves me.
Come on,
so
now.
I didn't believe it at first,
right?
But when I seen her, it took me 3 years to say something.
Wait, to speak to her?
Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah.
To say hi.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It took me 3 years to say so because I didn't want to go through that same drama again.
Got you. Right.
And, I'm getting older. I'm not getting any younger.
Right.
So when I seen her, it was almost like you notice how a horse, they have, you only could see but directly straight.
Blinders.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So I was in the I wasn't in the choir, but I was in the back in there, way in the back.
Right.
And it seemed like I can see her, all just her.
Wow.
Nobody but her.
Right.
And first thing I said, no, it can't be, because see, I wanted someone tall, long hair.
Okay, you had your thought. You had your thought process.
Right.
You had a list, Uncle?
Yes.
I really
So did I.
So God said, a woman from a man's rib,
Mm-hmm.
and you would know her.
Right.
And actually, I just watched her for a long time, but she had one guy used to come over there and say something to us. I thought that was her friend. So
All he was doing was saying something. That's all. It was nothing.
It was nothing.
Family, understand that my auntie is a very beautiful lady, so
Yeah.
it doesn't surprise me that the deacon was trying to talk to her. It doesn't surprise me.
Right. So I told her when we finally got together, she came to Cheddar's, and I heard this noise saying, "I'm hungry."
I was hungry.
And she's coming up there, and I said, "Oh God!" And I started sweating in the head.
No.
I was very, very nervous, and my hat kept on falling on the floor, and I picked
Uncle, you
it
dropping hats?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she said, "What you got over there in that bowl?" Huh? I wanted to say something,
Right.
But I was nervous, very
Yeah.
nervous. So she sat next to me, and my knees bump. So I finally said this to her. Well, she introduced herself,
Right.
and then I finally she ordered something, and I mentioned I don't know what I can't
think you
remember.
recommended that I try the
Spinach,
pot
right?
pie.
What's pot pie? Okay, yeah, the pot pie.
Yeah, I ordered the pot pie.
So yeah, but I never went out to try to talk to her, nothing like that.
Right.
I got somebody else to do it for me. Huh? Yes. I was scared.
You're skipping the fact that you kept bumping my knee.
I tell you, my knee was bumped.
I would slide over a little bit, and he would bump my knee again. I'd slide over, and I'm like,
I was just
okay,
scared.
now I don't know what this is. So I know you were scared. Yeah, I do that to you. I'm so sorry.
You know what? All right, Auntie. Show 'em what you're working with, Auntie.
I don't want to take my husband's spot. Go ahead. And finish.
So yeah, I was, and then
He was nervous.
and then well, I left because I really was scared and perspiring, just sweating.
Right.
So I left. But I asked the girl who was having the birthday girl. I said,
Right.
what's her name again? And she married. And so she went back and told her,
Oh, Lord.
that I
you
wanted
asked
her
her,
number of one, but she said, well, he can tell me.
That's Aunt Connie.
Don't send
Don't.
no messages to me.
I know
Let
that's
him
right.
come talk to me himself.
Right.
That's that Robinson blood
All
in it
right
right there.
now.
Right.
I wish y'all could see her facial expression when she said that, y'all.
So we finally start in church, and the Lord had told me, okay, it's time to talk to her. So I did. I went over and I talked to her, and I was told her, I've been trying to say something to you for a long time, and I just couldn't.
Right.
And then I said, maybe we can have, dinner. We passed phone. She said, well, I'm talking to somebody right now. So
Lord,
I asked her. I said, well, can you put me on a layaway list?
You know what? I'm done. Come on and be
Layaway
smooth, Uncle.
list.
Be
So
smooth.
she
Be
smiled.
smooth.
She laughed about it, right?
Layaway. Never heard that. Okay, we'll see about it.
So I got the number from her, and I called a couple of times, and she
Right.
would never answer.
Right.
So I told her number up.
Right.
And then she called me back, and she said she was sorry. She was at church, the church on women's retreat.
Okay.
So I said, wow, I still can't believe that I finally have a good lady. She said, well, maybe we can meet. And I said, okay. Now she did not want to meet in my house. She wouldn't come to my house. We will meet in the park, right, honey? What is
Yes.
that? It was
or somewhere in the public. Until I understood who he was.
I know
didn't
that's
him.
right.
Yeah. So
I didn't know him.
That's why I didn't know him. I didn't know him.
When I finally asked her out, we was down there on W.T. Harris in that little pond over there.
Oh, at the university.
Out of university,
Where the Hyatt
where
is.
the hotel
Hilton.
is, the Hilton Hotel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it was nice. We had a nice. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. Go ahead.
So we I walked in and I asked her, can we start being?
Would you be my lady?
Yeah. And I shouldn't have said that. She telling everybody now.
Like,
people walking by.
I remember verbatim.
What did he say, Auntie? What did he say, Auntie?
We were walking around the pond, and he stopped right under some trees where it was shade. And I said, "What's the matter?" He said, "Well, I need to ask you something." I said, "What is it?" He said, "Would you be my lady?"
Right.
I said, "Yes."
Come on now.
Yes, I will. And then I got scared. My knees were shaking. But it's been a wonderful journey since then. But he still left off some things.
Let me ask you a question, Auntie. Did you know that he was it? How did you know that he was it?
Before we answer the question, just real quick. So just for the family. So how long have you guys been together?
11 years, but we've been married 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Now I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just want the family to know.
I'm sorry, 10 years and been married 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were in a courtship. We didn't date.
Right.
It was a courtship because it was leading to marriage, a godly marriage.
Right.
So we were in a courtship for 3 years.
Wow.
And we've been married 7.
Well, first of all, that no, because Uncle was already waiting 3 years, and you made him wait. Uncle, that was 6 years, Uncle. 6 years.
That ain't nothing.
Wow.
Well, I'm worth every bit of that time.
Okay, then I
She sure was.
She killing me.
Any man,
that's right.
Where I came from, we used to meet a woman, and then, a month later, at least a month.
Yeah.
3 years?
3 years, Uncle.
I mean, you had to be, and
yeah.
I mean, I had a lot because it was. I told him, I said, I live a chastised life.
Yeah,
and if you
yeah.
can't handle that, you need to go ahead and find someone else.
Right.
And I told him, I've messed up before going against God's will.
Right.
And life wasn't too good for me because I was punished for that.
Right.
That's what happened to me.
Right.
So what I decided to do was follow what God said.
That's right.
And that's what I did. And whatever he did, that he got the answer to God for that.
Right.
I did what God told me
to do.
So
how did you know when did you know? Because Uncle said he already knew. The daughter had already talked to him, so with no need of discussing that, he knew.
There was a lot of confusion, and that is not God.
Yeah.
God is not a God of confusion. So Satan had gotten in there. So one day, I was at my job, and I had a dream about the beach.
Okay.
And it was a beautiful room. It was an oceanfront room. I could see the ocean from the bed. I could lay on the bed, and this was in my dream.
Right.
So I like mountains. Why is God giving me dreams like this? So I was at work one day. The Lord spoke beach in my spirit. This happened 3 times.
Wow.
That last time, it was so intense. I had to go ahead and ask for days off and go ahead and go. I mean, it was an urgency. And I'm thinking, what is this about?
Right.
But what the kicker was, I had to go alone. I'd never been anywhere overnight out of town by myself.
Right.
Wow.
In my entire life.
Right.
So I was scared, but I did. Well, God took me to the beach. It was the same room I had in my dream. God spoke, and he said, I wasn't able to rest. He said, balcony. I went to it's dark outside.
Right.
You couldn't see nothing.
Right.
God had me go out on the balcony. I sat there. All of this it's getting somewhere, y'all. I promise. I'm not
You
lost.
fine.
You take your time,
take
Auntie.
your time, Auntie.
So I went out on the balcony, and I'm waiting for God. Okay, God, go ahead and talk. It's cold out here. I'm ready to go back to bed.
Right.
He didn't say a word, but I began to tell God what was going on in me. It was almost like I was, I had to empty out.
Right.
You were purging out.
Yes, that's the word, purging. I talked and I told God what was going on, why I was confused, and God, I don't know what to do. Tell me what I need to do. All God said, when he started talking, it was daylight.
Wow.
The sun had started coming up.
Right.
And he told me to stand up, and I stood at the rail. He said, look at the ocean. See how it goes out and comes back? It has a boundary. It doesn't go past where I tell it to go.
Right.
Oh, wow.
But what does that have to do with what I just said, Lord? It didn't make any sense at the time. Then he said, look down as far as you can see down the beach, the ocean. It does everything it's supposed to. It goes in, it goes out and back in. That's all he said. So I felt like I understood boundaries.
Right.
Oh, he did say this. God said, just like I'm managing the boundaries of this ocean, I will manage the boundaries in your life.
Wow.
Okay, but what does that have to do with what I just poured out?
Right. Like, where we going, God? Where
Make
we
it
going
make
with
sense,
this?
Lord. Make it make
Right.
sense.
It made no sense.
Right.
So I went back home, but something about it, I felt good. But I didn't fully understand what that meant.
Oh, man.
Because she was gone.
He thought I was
gone.
running away from him, I guess. So it confused a lot of people because that's not me. I don't
Right.
Watertown by myself.
Right.
I wasn't going to meet anyone.
Right.
I was going because God said, why? See, first of all, he said beach. I had to get away from all the voices.
The chatter. Yeah.
I had to get away from the voices.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
too
yeah.
much. I
Yeah.
couldn't handle it. So I came back home. I let Wardell know I was home.
Right.
He still didn't understand. Why did you go by yourself? I could have gone with you. You couldn't go with me at this time.
Right.
So that's what I really still didn't know at that point for sure that he was the one.
Right.
I still didn't know for sure. So I still prayed and asked God. I read all the books. I went to counseling. I did everything because I didn't want to mess up again.
Right. Right.
I couldn't mess up again.
Yeah.
So I ended up spending time with him, talking to him. We talked about the Lord. But when I finally realized who he was and whether he was the right one is when God said, watch Wardell. I took it wrong. Oh my God, what is he doing? What do I need?
Because that's what you be thinking at first.
Right.
We always want to pull in the negative so fast. Yeah.
Immediately, because I'm running scared, remember.
Right.
I'm still a little nervous.
Right.
So God said, watch me work with him. And then God let me see his heart.
Right. Right. Right.
Once I saw Wardell's heart, Wardell would cook dinner on Sunday, invite me to dinner. He would have me a carry-out plate to take for lunch the next day.
Right. Come on,
I didn't
Uncle.
ask him for anything.
Oh, Uncle.
I was serious.
You was smooth. You was not
was.
playing.
He would bring me
Look at
gifts.
that.
And he didn't have a lot of money, but he would do those things for me. He would bring me gifts. It was to let me know he's thinking of me and he cares.
Right.
He protected me when we were out. My dad used to, when we were walking down the street, Daddy would get on the street side and put me in the middle.
Right.
To the left of him.
Right.
Wardell does that.
Right.
That's where I get it from.
He opens the door for me to let me in the car.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things. Did I get off track?
No,
ma'am.
no, you're right where you need
Whatever
to be.
track you on is where you need,
you need
to
to
be.
be.
I need to go back a little bit. Let's go back to the restaurant. Let's go back.
You want to
there.
revisit. Let's
Yes.
revisit.
Auntie, before you do, small question for you.
Okay, cool.
Simply because there's always a method behind the madness of everyone we bring on to the
Exactly.
Crenshaw
Yeah.
Corner. And so if you don't mind me asking, because you said you guys have been together 10, married 7.
Correct.
How old were you when you and Uncle first got together? If you don't mind me asking.
No. I don't mind at all. 10 years ago, I was 53.
Okay. And Uncle, you?
I was old.
He's only 4 years older than me.
Okay.
He was 57.
I was old.
I'll go with
I was
that.
57 years old.
Yeah.
And that's why we wanted to have this conversation with
Yeah.
you guys. And that's why we wanted to have the conversation with the family.
Okay.
Because a lot of people think that once you get of a certain age,
Right.
you've missed your
Yeah.
opportunities.
For love. Yeah.
And they think that once I get to a certain age, a good life has passed me by. I've wasted my youth. And so a good life has
Yeah.
passed me by. So we wanted to definitely have the conversation with you guys
Okay.
because, like you said, you were in your 50s when you guys got together.
Yeah.
And to be honest, if we're once again being honest, a functional marriage in our family is not something we're always accustomed to seeing.
Right.
If we're being honest.
Correct.
And so to see you guys at this stage in life having a functional, loving, caring marriage is to let family know
absolutely
that it can happen.
Right. Absolutely.
So I just wanted to put that out there. So Auntie, continue.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the restaurant so I can plug in those pieces he left off. He left out. We were at Cheddar's, of course, at a friend of ours. She's one of the ministers at the church. We were at her party. And when I got there, I did say, oh, God, I'm hungry. What have you guys got down there?
Right.
And it was spinach dip, and I love it. So I scraped the bowl. He was laughing. Everything I did was comical to him. And I'm thinking, why is he laughing at everything? I don't know this person.
Right.
You know, and I had been shopping. I was tired, you know, and I was ready to eat.
Right.
That's all I could think about. So he said, well, what are you going to order? And I'm like, I don't know. And he recommended, like I said, the chicken, the pot pie. But like I said before, he kept hitting my knee, and I think it's because he was nervous, like he said. So I kept sliding over, and he would make small comments about, "Do you think you'll like it?" When my food came, do you like it?
Right.
I said, "Would you like to taste it?" He said, "Oh no." And I'm sort of like, I've never had a man to pay that close of attention to me consistently.
Come on,
like
now.
that before. And I was like, okay. And I looked at him and I said, he's cute too. You know, I didn't want to just stare, but I glanced out of the corner of my eye and said, he's cute. I said, okay. And Benita, after we left the restaurant, my niece said, who was that? He was cute. And I said, I don't know. I don't know his name or anything. I don't know. Girl, I don't know. So I forgot all about it. But anyway, that Sunday at church, same minister.
I can hear then.
He
she
said,
was loud.
But I had never seen him before.
Right.
I forgot. I had never seen him before. I didn't know he was a member. He was going to the park.
Right.
I didn't know that. I'd never seen him.
Right.
My entire time there.
Right.
So one Sunday, I'm skipping over. One Sunday after church, the minister told me that Wardell said to tell me hello. I said, who was that? She said, the guy you were sitting beside at my party. I said, okay, well, tell him hey. That's how I said
right.
it. Oh, tell him hey. Because my focus was different then.
Yeah.
Pastor told us, throw away the lists, keep yourself groomed, keep yourself clean, live for the Lord, and the man will find you. So
right.
I wasn't thinking he was coming that quickly.
Right.
So, but anyway, that Sunday, he finally walked up to me. I was waiting for my sister to finish at the bookstore because she works in the after church, the bookstore, all that. Mm-hmm. So I was hungry again. And I got up to, Benita said, your mom's ready, let's go. I got my purse because at that point I was living with them.
Right.
I got my purse and my Bible and I was headed out. I heard someone say, excuse me, ma'am. My face was like, why would they wait till now? I'm ready to eat. This is what's on my mind.
Uh-huh.
And I turned around and I was like, wow. Didn't recognize him.
Uh-huh.
Okay. He said, do you remember me? And I said, no, I'm sorry. I don't. I said, can you come closer? Because
she's playing hard to get off because she's trying to play hard to get.
I honestly didn't remember. I didn't because it had been several weeks, possibly a month. And I turned. I said, could you come closer because my contacts don't pick up that far.
Uh-huh.
He came closer. And I was like, oh, my God, he looks good.
Right.
Who is this?
You know what, Auntie?
I'm serious. And he got closer. He said, you remember me from Cheddar's? I said, my knees started shaking and knocking. I said, oh, my God, what is happening to me? And he said, he walked up to closer and Wardell said, I can't stop thinking about you since Cheddar's.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to get to know you better.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
He said, may I have your phone number? I literally forgot my number.
Oh, wow, Auntie.
My legs were shaking so bad. Sweat started pouring.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what is going on? He said, are you going to give me the number? I said, in my mind, as soon as I remember it.
Seeing somebody.
I'm telling the good part. This is the good part. And so I sat down on the pew and he said, are you okay? And I said, yes, I'm fine. And I said, Lord, help me remember my number. Help me, please. I wrote it down and gave it to him. Mm-hmm. And he took it and he called me that afternoon. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't at home. I did call him back. We talked about 15 minutes. And he called me again after I came back from the women's retreat. We talked 2 hours the first time.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And we talked about the Lord and just basic stuff. And I knew I liked him, but I was afraid. I came from a family that we're afraid of New Yorkers. We're afraid of people up north. And I've only heard bad stuff, you know, on TV. And my mother's sisters moved from South Carolina to New York, and they started drinking heavy, and it was a negative view. So that's all we saw was negative views. And I didn't know any better but just to be afraid like everyone else. So once I learned his demeanor and his heart, when I saw, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
When I saw his heart, God let me see his heart. Once I saw Wardell's heart, I knew, okay, he's it. This is it.
This is it.
The way he treats me like a precious stone. And when we're out, the way he treats me outside of this dwelling, he treats me like that here. It's amazing. And it all started with God taking me to
the beach. Did you guys know, like, because you said you guys both been through so much and had other relationships. You both said the same thing. I didn't want to mess this up. I didn't want to make the same mistakes. Did you think you wanted to get married again? Or have y'all always knew that you wanted to be married again?
Well, I did, but I was married before. And I was married, and the church I was going to, they said once you married, you always was married. You always for the rest of your life. That one person, they die or something like that. So I told the Lord, I said, well, Lord, I guess I'm going to be a sinner because I'm getting married again. And that's what I said. But God told me this. He said, you did all you can do. Now it's time for you to move on.
Wow.
So it wasn't easy because, you know, I'm the type, I don't know, I wasn't a rapping type. You know, some guys get out there and grab a girl and go in the barn. I wasn't that type.
Did you say go in a barn, Uncle?
Yeah, go in the barn.
Bar.
Oh, bar.
Not barn.
I thought you said barn. I was like, Uncle, what are you doing?
No, not a barn. Bar.
I was like, there are barns there.
What are you doing in the barn? Okay, you said bar. Okay,
Yeah,
Uncle,
go into
sorry.
a bar.
Sorry.
Go to the bar and meet somebody like that, and I didn't want that in my life. So when God had to minister in, he had to get me right before I can be able to go to her, because he says some things she's not going to understand and some things you're not going to understand. So right now we are really still getting to know about each other because we're different. You know, she's from a church that's raised in church, and I'm from the hood and projects and everything. So I learned a lot from her. And to be calm and warm temper, my temper was crazy, and God had to get all that out of me before I go to her. And what made me really know that was her is when she said, "Let's pray." I never had a girl say that. One lady I dated, and she said, "Are you gonna talk about the Lord again?" So
you got to go. You got to go.
So my wife, we always talked about the Lord all the time, every time. And the good thing about it, it gave me more energy and let me know that is my soulmate. So I was very happy. And like she said, there was some ups and downs. But God had already told me before I even talked to her, before we even started dating. I told her a lot of things that people's not gonna like and all that. I told her all that.
He did.
And like when we met, and we went set in the restaurant.
We did.
And that's because God wanted that to be that way.
Yeah.
He sets it up.
So
he's always a setter. He sets it up every time.
Right. So that's when things started putting together. And like I told her, it's not over with. It's gonna be where everybody's gonna love everybody. It's gonna be that way. And especially in marriage, because marriage, the enemy hates marriage.
Yes, say it, Uncle.
He would try everything he can to get you
Yes.
away.
Yeah.
That's true.
Even your own family.
Yes.
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 Right.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but our mind is already made of who we're gonna follow because
Yeah.
he brought us this far.
Exactly.
So,
That's
So
right.
you know, did you know, Auntie, that you were going to get married again?
Let me tell you, after the previous,
Mm-hmm.
I said I will never ever get married again.
Wow.
I will never do this again.
Wow.
I was satisfied.
Mm.
I was in the process of saving for a house.
Right.
It was just going to be me and a dog.
Okay.
You and a dog, Auntie?
Me and a dog.
You and a dog. Okay.
Yeah, me and a little dog.
Oh, it's hard for me now with trying
because
to,
I was done.
It was rough.
I was devastated previously,
Right.
and I was determined I wasn't going through that again.
Yeah.
So and it was wrong because he told me, "Now I'm not your ex. I'm not your ex. I'm Wardell."
Right.
He
Right.
would say that a lot,
Right.
and it didn't register until God had me to understand. And then Bible study and Sunday school, it was always pastor was on my toes. I'm like, how does he know this stuff?
Right. Come on, boy. Stop telling my business.
Right. And I finally had to back up a little bit and give him an opportunity to show me he's not the ex.
Right. Right.
And he did.
Yeah.
He did. And it's a work in progress. You have to want to be your best
Yeah.
for the Lord, number one.
Yeah.
And then you want to be the best because if God sent him to me, then God knew what he was doing.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I want to be the best I can be as his wife. No one comes before my husband but God. No one.
Right.
No one.
Yeah.
When I say no one, I mean that.
Right.
It is very
And-
difficult for people to understand that
Yeah,
concept.
it's God,
Yeah.
your husband, the wife, then the children.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it's so out of order.
And then everybody else.
And then everybody
Then
else.
everyone else.
Right.
People had a very difficult time
Yes.
with me and Sanchez. We said that on the podcast. Our children comes after. It's God, us,
Thank
and then the
you.
children. And so family members and people had such a very difficult time with us
Yeah,
because
with
that's
that
our,
concept.
with that concept because that is the way that we work. And we knew even going in that family's going to have a time like, no, it's the kids, it's this and that. We had
no.
to have those boundaries to say this is the way that we're going to do our marriage. We're not going to do our marriage the way everybody else is doing it. We have to do it the way that we know that works for us. And we knew that it was going to be hard.
Yeah.
It was
Knew gonna be
hard in the
We
beginning.
knew that a lot of people would not understand.
Yeah.
But also we knew that we didn't really care whether they
You have
understood
to
or
not
not.
care.
right.
Yeah.
You
That's
have
right.
to not
That's right.
care what
Yeah.
other
Whether they
people
understood or not.
think,
Yes.
or what they think you should be doing.
Yeah.
Because it's about what God's order is.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
And even if they were not your biological children, the order stays the
It
same.
stays the same.
Still
It
stays the
doesn't
same.
change.
It doesn't change.
And this is the biggest thing, y'all, Sanchez and Angela, that I had to learn is to keep my mouth shut from telling family everything. When I was younger, I told everything what went on. I was married.
Right.
They knew everything going on in my house. That's not God's way.
No.
Whatever's going on inside of your home between you and your husband,
Right.
the children shouldn't even know what's going on in between the two of you.
That's right.
If we keep that order, you can have peace in your home.
Yeah.
God is first.
Yeah.
He's the center of it. It's not just the two of you. God should be a part of it.
Yes, ma'am.
Exactly. Yes.
And follow his order. His order is perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And so when I tell my husband, no, have you talked to your sisters? No, I'm sitting here talking to you. I'll call them later. There's nothing wrong with, you're first. So he still has a hard time with that. He is, because my husband, a lot of what I tell him and a lot of the ways I treat him, he'd never been treated that way before.
Right.
With respect and honor.
Right.
yeah.
Well, my mother was a perfect example, your grandmother,
Yes,
of
ma'am.
honoring her husband.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you're worthy of it, well, even when you're not, when he may not be, but you still do your part as the woman.
Yep.
Okay?
Because your commitment
So,
is to God, not to man.
Thank you. It's to God.
Yes, ma'am.
So after I learned to talk to God instead of my family and my friends about situations, it helped me in this relationship to talk to him.
Yeah.
I'm
Talk
curious
to him.
about something, and I want the answer from both you and Uncle. What was the major difference from finding love at 20 to to finding love at 50?
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to answer first? I got it right. Yeah.
Go first?
Yeah, you go first. I got it right. You know.
The difference at 20, I didn't know me. I didn't know who I was.
Right.
Okay. So I definitely didn't know what I wanted.
Wow.
Okay. But by the time I met Wardell, I knew what I didn't want. I
Come
knew
on.
what I did want.
Come on.
I knew what I would be ready to take and what I wouldn't be ready to take.
Right.
I knew all of that. But I got, and when he came along, I had a list. I had a long list. And thank God I'm obedient to God and my pastor. Pastor told the young women, the single women, throw those lists away.
Yep.
Because the person that God sends you
Yep.
may not be anything on that list.
Right.
Come on,
And
somebody.
you're going to miss your blessing.
Come on, somebody.
So there goes the list, and it was long. Oh, my God.
Auntie, was it a long list, though?
He had to be tall. He had to have a master's degree. He had to have his own home. He had to have this much in his account. He had to be driving this. It was just down to the penny. His shoes had to be shiny like my daddy.
Uh-huh.
He had to dress like my father. It was just really ridiculous.
Right.
When I think back, I threw the list away, and it wasn't long after that, Wardell shows up.
Sharp as a tack.
With a PT Cruiser
Oh my
and
God,
3 Hellcats.
that guy!
Not the PT Cruiser and 3 hubcaps.
But I hadn't seen the PT Cruiser at the time.
That was not on her list, Uncle. A PT
it
Cruiser
wasn't.
was not on her list.
No.
With 3 hubcaps.
Right. And I said, and what was so funny, me and my sister and my niece had been laughing about something on TV that God had his hubcaps missing.
Uh-huh.
Seen someone. And then here comes my baby with his 3 hubcaps. I said, "Oh my God!"
What?
I was
That
just
was it.
laughing about it. I was just laughing. And so,
I was in the doghouse then.
but not with me.
No, not with her. No.
Right.
So what he would do with the 3 hubcaps, when he come pick me up, you guys, he would get out, open my door. No, he would come in, come to the door and receive me.
Right.
I didn't have to. He didn't blow the horn, and I had to come out of the car. Come out of the house to the car. He came and got me.
Come on now.
And then when we got to the car, he opened the door and let me in and made sure the door was locked.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is new right here. But yes, I said no, I didn't want to be married again. But the more I spent time with him, I was like, wow. And then let me tell you, I was telling my girlfriends at work I had met this new guy. Well, you let us meet him because we do not want you hurt ever again. I said,
Oh,
okay.
God, they did.
So my friend Ann, she set up a party at her house, a dinner party for just couples.
Right.
And soon as he got there, she took him alone in her kitchen and grilled
It
him
was
from
3
A
people.
to Z.
Not 3. They had 3 people on you?
3 was in the kitchen with me.
What they say, Uncle? What they say to you?
First of all, Ann, she tells me, they best friends, and
Yeah.
she don't want to
Over
hurt
30
anymore.
years.
Right.
So she was asking me questions about, how long, I've been, here in North Carolina. She asked me questions about, how long I have been separated with, whoever I was dating.
Right.
I said, man, what is this here? Application? And then your Aunt Ruth, she's sitting there, mouth all out. Hot.
Hot.
So, but what's the name said that I can't think of her name. What was her name? Sharon was saying, asked me, she see that I'm a good man for her, and but she's still gonna watch me for a while.
Okay.
Right.
She said, I said, well, that's good.
Yeah.
It's good y'all doing that because y'all don't know me from a can of paint.
They
Right.
didn't know him. I
No,
didn't
so Ann said, well, let's take good care of her. I
Right.
said, well, I will.
Right.
So they all went back. So she had to go. I think we wound up meeting in the hallway, somewhere in the hallway. She got a taste of these lips.
He's getting a little fresh.
Did you say he get a little fresh?
Yes. But he did it so, it was tastefully
Right.
done, if that makes
Milk.
sense.
Did she melt, Uncle?
That's like a caramel.
You know what? Like a caramel.
Anyway,
Don't be anyway. Uncle still got the mic, Auntie. No ma'am. He got the mic. So let me ask you. So what's the difference? I think the question.
Hold on.
Did I answer the question?
No, you answered
you
it
answered the
perfectly.
question.
Uncle hasn't answered it yet, though.
Yeah, that's what. So what's the difference?
Because I know my wife want to get back to that.
Yeah, because I'm really interested in what you bought. Because you said I already know in my head, so I want to know what you gonna say.
Yeah, the difference of finding love at 20 and the difference of finding love at 50.
Yeah.
Okay, when I was in my 20s, I really wasn't thinking. And in a relationship, because I was back in my 20s, I was a role manager.
Okay.
I did a lot of shows.
Right.
Hip hop shows when hip hop first came out.
Right.
With Dougie Fresh and Run DMC and Russell Semi New Mall. So I wasn't thinking about, nothing like that.
Right.
But as I got older, on my first marriage, someone introduced me to church.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And when they introduced me to church, my heart started changing.
Okay.
And then I wind up getting married. But the only reason why God said this, you were there, is because it's a lesson you got to learn. And that's what happened with her. She introduced me to church.
Okay.
So that opened up a door for a marriage.
Yeah.
A true marriage.
Yeah.
Honest marriage. I always a one woman man. One man woman. Rather.
Yeah.
So when I met her, I've been through some relationships and it didn't last that long, maybe 3 years, and here comes the downfall.
Okay.
God showed me this. God said, you turn that faucet on all the way, you're gonna wind up turning it off. And I was at like 30. Yeah, I was 33, something like that.
Right.
He said, you're going to wind up turning it off. But if you let it drip and you twist it so tight and it won't go off, you'll get used to that drip.
Yeah, it'd be like you don't even hear it anymore.
Like you don't even hear
exactly.
it anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So when my wife came, when Constance come along, I was nervous. I mean, because I don't want to go through this mess anymore.
Right.
So I'm in my 30s. When she came, I was in my 40s. When she, actually, I would say 50, in my 50s.
His age back. He was in his 50s.
But during that time, I was going through things and trying to find myself.
Wow. Okay.
So when I met her, everything fell in place the way I'm supposed to be as a man, and how to treat or how to love a wife the way he wanted me to do. That's one reason why anytime my wife could tell you, I'll come in, I'll be so happy to see her.
Yeah.
She can walk in that door right now and I'm happy to see her.
Right.
I'll go in the room happy to see her.
Right.
And that's good because you have a happy life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, some guys, and I'm not saying all the guys, all they want to do is come home, get the remote control, watch the game, or either they ain't watching the game, they're going out hanging out with their friends.
Right.
I married my wife because I want a companionship.
Yeah.
I want to have a relationship.
Exactly.
I want her to be with me.
Right.
Yeah.
And most of the time she don't go without me.
Right.
Hardly ever.
Yeah, right. She's always around with me.
Right.
And people ask me, why y'all always hold hands? Because that's part of my
Tell them I
that's
like
part
that.
of my rib. So
Right.
I'm gonna hold hands as much as I can because tomorrow's not promised.
It's not.
So you gotta love her the way the Lord wants you to love her.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's doing really good. He's
I
doing
love
good.
it. I think the family can tell there's a
You can hear it.
Yeah, there's-
without even seeing y'all, you can literally hear your love on this microphone. Literally hear your love.
There's a joy when you speak about Uncle, and there's a joy when Uncle speaks about you.
Absolutely.
There's a love that's amazing.
Thank
I do have a question, babe. I'm gonna turn it over to you. Kind of, I've been kind of asking all the questions.
You're fine.
But I'm curious about something. So from what I'm hearing from both of you guys, at that time you were not looking for one another,
Right.
and then at that time, Uncle was something totally different than what you were used to,
Yes.
and Auntie was something totally different than you were used to, Uncle. So how did you reconcile that? So how did you make that work, being that A, you were not looking for this, and then B, it was not the person you were looking for
On your list.
So how did you get past that, and how did you reconcile to realize this is where I need to be?
Yeah.
You're talking to me first, right?
Both. Whoever wants to answer it first.
I'm gonna answer that first.
Go ahead.
Go, Uncle. Go for
You were
it.
first the last time.
Okay, go ahead.
That's okay. Go ahead. I'm kidding. Go ahead. Go ahead. And so I'm just glad you're talking.
But okay, the reason why I'm talking because they make sense what he's saying. So,
Exactly. It does.
but what it is, say that again. That she done made me.
You fine. It's just because, like I said, when you guys got together, you were not looking for you were not looking for this, and she's something totally different than what you're used to.
Yeah.
Right.
So how were you able to work through that to
Yeah.
realize this is where you need to be?
Yeah.
First of all, God did that.
Yes, sir.
Nobody but Him did it. You know how the polished clay. You know how you. I was molded this way for her.
Right.
It had to take.
You better
time.
teach, Uncle.
It had
Teach
to
the
take
people.
time. It had to take time for him to get me right. 'Cause
Right.
He showed me, like I said, he's always showing me stuff that makes sense. And when he did he's telling me about to make a pot of clay. If you make one mistake, it's gonna be all crooked, right? So he had to get me right for her because he knew her.
Yeah.
I'm the one that would have been a problem because I didn't know. I wasn't a church going person.
Right.
So it had to be God to bring us like this the way we are.
Yeah.
Even with her, because there's some things that she didn't know that she was gonna come that way. You
Right,
know,
right,
'cause
right.
Her father taught her how to be a preacher and how to minister to people. I was taught different. I was
Right.
taught how to yell at you and holler at you, and
Right.
so God had to bring me to a way that bring us both in a way that we will understand each other better.
Right.
It wasn't easy. Trust me. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
because she was still scared. You know, there's some things that she didn't understand,
Right.
and there were some things that I didn't understand.
Right.
So God had to bring both of us together.
Yeah.
And he's still working with us.
Yeah.
Like sometime I'll come home, I'll bring a rose and lay it on the bed.
Uh-huh.
She'll come in there and she'll see the rose, and that makes me feel good because
Right.
I mean, tell you, I love to have someone that loves God.
Yeah.
Right.
And when God gave her to me, I said to myself, I'm going to treat her like I love you.
That's right.
I love him, and her is almost like him to
Yeah,
me. The way she
yeah.
comes to me and she talks about the Lord. My wife would get me up like we are right now. We are in a class every Sunday,
A couples class.
couple class every Sunday,
Yeah.
and we talk about the Lord
Married
and to
couples.
make our
Yeah.
marriage couple. We make our love go more.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
He said when sometimes I would get a little down, I go to my wife. She's like a cable.
Right.
Yeah, for me
When you plug in,
plug
yeah.
in, you know.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, she's talking to me and she's ministered to me and it boosts me back up again. And the same thing with her. Yeah,
Yes.
so that's letting us know that we are on one
Yeah.
accord.
On one accord.
Right.
What about you,
What about
Auntie?
you, Auntie?
Okay.
So it's
Say
how
it
did
again.
how did you get here? Because like you said, you were not looking for it. This situation is something totally different than you were used to.
Yes.
So how did you able to reconcile that and still work through it and still realize this is where you need to be?
Yeah.
I
Because you
did.
had a list.
I did.
That
The list
didn't-
was gone. It, in my mind, it was still trying to surface.
Right.
But the physical list was gone. I tore it up. What I did was I had to do a lot of praying and soul searching and watching.
Yeah.
I watched him. I watched how he handled himself when there was mixed company or when it was just nothing but women around.
Right.
I wanted to see, that was the test for me.
Same
to
thing
see
with me.
How he would respond with a bunch of women that looked better than me, shaped better than me.
So you thought.
So I thought.
So you thought.
And
Yeah.
I wanted to see, is he going to flirt with them or what's he going to do? And he didn't.
Right.
When we're walking down the street together or in a mall or wherever we are,
Right.
his focus is straight ahead. I've never seen him turn his head looking. Now his eyes, I don't see any movement towards that
Right.
person that walked by.
Right.
And I thought, wow, that's different. Okay. But what made me know that it was different was, or to be able to manage the difference because he was raised up totally different, like he said.
Right.
I was raised up by Reverend J.C. Robinson and Annie Robinson. Those of you who know him, that couple, you know, it was a strict upbringing. I was not allowed to date anyone that was not in Christ or was not at church. I could not go visit any homes where they were not attending church. If there was drinking and cussing and all that, I could not be there.
Right.
Okay. So I meet someone who is exactly like I was told not to be around.
Right.
So that was a challenge. So what I had to do, in all sincerity, forget about that part of my upbringing. Because when God does something,
Come on.
I'm going to tell God no, because my daddy said no. No. You follow the Lord. He's not going to lead you wrong.
Right.
That's right.
It's right.
Now,
It's right.
It's painful because I was so green. Meeting someone that came from such a different background than me. I've learned a lot from him.
Right.
Like he said, he's learned from me. So how I'm managing it is prayer, reading, watching, and going into my heart, going deeper. I don't think I've ever loved any man like this, like I love Wardell in my life.
Because I'm anointed.
Tell again, Uncle. Go on and tell again. Anointed.
Yes, sir. I haven't, and that part would scare me so bad because I felt that a difference. I'm like, I've never felt this way about anybody other than my daddy.
Right.
And I told Wardell that. I said, I've never loved anybody like I love you, but my daddy.
Wow.
That's it.
And
So that's
some pretty big shoes to fill.
It is. It is. And I'm so glad that we are doing this. You're interviewing us because you know me, you know my life, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, we're family, so
Yes,
you
ma'am.
know how my father was, and I loved him with everything in my body.
Yes, ma'am.
And I can firmly say I love my husband the same.
Wow.
I do. I love him just like I love my father, and I know Dad is in heaven saying, no, there's no way you can do that. But yes, and sometimes that's scary, and I have to ask God to help me to stay humble and know that God is first.
Yeah.
And the thought of not having my husband is painful. Just the thought of it.
Yeah.
So it's deep. It's a love that I can't explain.
Because it's one of those things where you are being vulnerable. And you don't want to be vulnerable. And marriage is vulnerability.
It is.
Right? It's really vulnerability.
Right.
It is you're vulnerable. You're literally opening yourself up for whatever that person wants to say or how they want to act or whatever. You know, when people always ask me in Sanchez, because we've been married 21 years, which is blowing. It's been 22 years in February, which is amazing that we've been married that long because you know your nephew. I'm not going to talk about it, but you know your nephew, right? And so when people would ask me, you know, like, what are you and Sanchez do different? And we try to tell people marriage is work. This is a everyday process. It is. Don't, you know, we not that in far we don't people like, but you and Sanchez are so wonderful, whatever. It's because like you said, we don't go out telling people our problems and our issues. Right? Go. It's not that we're perfect because we are working on this thing every single day. We're not perfect, but what we do know for sure, it is best to go to each other and go to God first, right? Because a lot of times our family and friends, they mean well. They are not out to hurt us. They really are not.
Yes.
But sometimes they have a tendency of telling you stuff from their experiences, right?
Because most of the times they're coming from a place of hurt.
Exactly.
Right.
Or disappointment, right?
Yeah.
And so and then you go home and you looking at your husband now, Uncle ain't did nothing. You just rolling your eyes. You're like, now wait a minute. I ain't did nothing to you know. So you have to be very careful.
Exactly.
You know, and so when people talk to us, a couple of things that we always tell people. The first thing, the whole point of this podcast, not just with you guys, but anybody that we talk to as married couples, if you don't have the communication and relationship with God, you're gonna have some problems. But if you don't communicate,
that's right.
You have to communicate with the Lord, and you have to communicate with each other, right? And then for me as a wife, and be like, you know, y'all been married so long. No matter how Sanchez make me feel, my commitment is unto God first, not unto how he's acting, not unto what he feels or whatever he's going through. Mine is unto God. And so me and God made this commitment. Then I made this commitment with my husband. So exactly. So I still have to, like, sometimes I'll be like, let me just bring him this plate. That's when I cook, because I don't cook all the time. Y'all ain't gonna act like I cook.
Neither do
I'll be like, let me bring him this plate. Now, we could have just had something going on, but that does not mean it stops what I'm doing or what I'm supposed to do as his wife. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be so mindful. So I always tell people, it is work. It is a everyday work. You got two people coming together, and you have to have a vulnerability.
That's right.
I want to say this because I know you have a question. I want to say, I remember meeting Uncle Wardell for the first time, and what me and Sanchez knew that you were going to be okay, because this is what he said. We went. I think it was lunch. We went to lunch together. We went to lunch together, and you said to Sanchez, you said, I wanted to meet the person that's important to her. And because you are important, you're the nephew, and you important to her, you important to me, and I need to get to know you. At that point, that changed the game. It was nothing. It didn't matter what you had on. You could have had $1 million, but that conversation right there, not even with me, but for who you know she loved, and respecting of that, I want to meet him. I want to get to know him. Change the game, because you said it. He was like, okay.
Yeah, I had a whole new respect.
Yeah,
and like I said, of course, I was a child.
Right.
I didn't know everything, but I knew enough.
Right.
I knew, because I know the essence of who you are.
Right.
And so I can see when there's a difference.
Yeah.
And when I met Uncle Wardell, and I saw in you, because one thing I learned a long time ago, and sitting under Bishop Davis when we used to be under him, is that you always can tell a man by his wife. So anytime I meet a husband, I always look to his wife, to be honest. And when I look to you, I saw a happiness and a joy in you that I had never seen before.
Wow.
And when I say this, Uncle Wardell, please don't take any disrespect, but as much as I loved my uncle, as much as I loved Dennis, but even with that, there was still, and when I met Uncle Wardell and I saw, there's a wholeness here. There's a joy here. There's a completeness here that I had never seen before. I knew you were going to be okay.
Yeah.
I knew that you were in the right position.
Yeah.
And I knew this had to be nothing but a God thing.
Yeah.
It is.
And I appreciated.
One of your aunts said something to me, and really
Thank you, Chaz.
took my heart. I went to see her down in Florida, and she said,
May.
yeah, she said, Wardell, come here for a minute. And I went over there to her, and she said, you know what? When I first met you, I wasn't too fond of you. And she said,
That's that Robinson thing. They do that.
I see something real different in you. That she's gonna be okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And and she crying.
I'm just a big baby. Y'all know.
What it did, it opened the door up for other people to see me.
Yeah.
Don't judge me from where I'm at.
Right.
You got to see me.
Yeah.
So then the next thing you know, everything start falling in place.
Yeah.
I get calls from all her sisters and nieces, and I could not believe it. And hey, good morning. Come give me a hug.
Yeah.
And Ruth, what? When she said, "Come on over and give me a hug," what?
Because that's the powerhouse of the family right there.
Yeah.
If you could get through her, you done did it. You done did it.
Right.
You done did it.
That's true. That's true.
So that really made me change, and now she come and visit and everything.
Been here.
But when she went to the hospital and was in the hospital for a while, that I just knew, boy, I prayed up and down, and I walked and praying because I was asking, Lord, please, do something about this, because I cannot do this by myself.
I've never been sick before.
Right.
While we've been together, not like that.
Yeah.
So we in the hospital, I'm crying. I was, and even when they put that track down her nose, I never seen her like that. So and I'm very emotional when it comes down to her. And I'll tell anybody, you can mess with my money, my car, but my wife and my kids. Yeah. There's a problem. Yeah. And that's when you start getting
They done bought you from Harlem. They done bought the Bronx and Harlem and you at that point. They done bought it all back. You had it in your back pocket, but you like, I didn't want to bring it to my front pocket. But since we're here.
Right. Because it is hard.
Yes.
And you can't mess with somebody God gave me.
Yeah.
And I know God's going to protect me.
Anyway, yes.
I have to protect her.
Yes.
So, so it really touched me when the family started start getting along. And
It was stress on me as well.
Yes.
I'm actually glad you brought that up, Uncle, because I actually did want to touch on that just for a few moments. And because at any age, marriage, whether you're getting married at 20, you're getting married at 30, 40, whatever.
Yeah, whatever age.
Whenever you face that adversity where, for whatever reason, you find people that do not agree with your decision.
Right.
And you find people who feel that it is their duty
To tell you.
to tell you
they don't agree.
that they don't agree. Unsolicited.
Thank you, Auntie.
And they tell you that, you know, and it's like, it's God told them to tell you
Right. You go, you sure
that you making a bad decision because I don't agree with this.
Right.
Not saying that you faced that, but if you did, how did you work through that?
it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for her.
Right.
It was hard. You know, for the few years, she was really messed up. She can tell you.
Right.
Yeah.
Really?
Go ahead.
I love y'all. I love y'all so much.
It had gotten so good. There were some ladies from our church.
Really?
One in particular made it her mission as often as possible to get me by myself, to tell me I was making a mistake.
Really?
Oh.
She just wanted me. She was trying to hit on me. Before.
Is that what it was, Uncle?
Come to find out, she was
Wow.
asking him herself. She said, well, I don't think you should marry him because, you know, he's from New York. And see, I'm from New York. You're not from New York, so you don't know them. People that from New York. So it would be he's going to hurt you.
This is a preacher.
He's going to hurt you.
Really?
Yeah. And how much he was going to hurt me. And I said, God, I just don't, I believed her, to be honest.
Wow.
But because I stayed connected with my church,
Come on.
I was at church. I was there for Sunday school. I was there for Bible study. I
Right.
was there for worship. I was there for choir rehearsal. I was there and I was reading and I was praying and I would be on my face on the floor, face down. Lord, I need you to help me to be sure.
Yeah.
And what I did, I started avoiding her. And I did not allow myself to be caught alone with her. That she was not, her reactions towards me were not godly. So I had to understand that. But the biggest opposition I had were those that were closer to me.
Right.
That was devastating, which led up to God telling me to go to the beach.
Okay.
So now that's that connection.
Right.
That boundary, the boundaries that you
Right.
have to place. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
And then I know I had to set up some boundaries.
Yeah.
And God, I didn't realize that till we had been married almost 3 years before I realized I had to set up boundaries.
Wow.
With friends and family, and even with my in-laws, I had to set up some boundaries.
Right.
Yeah.
I had to set up boundaries with my husband because he didn't know. He asked me, "What are boundaries?" I'd never heard that before.
Right.
Well, I was devastated. Who doesn't know anything about boundaries? Then I remembered my daddy telling me in the back of my mind, "Everybody wasn't raised like you." Now that makes sense to me.
Okay.
So that I'm dealing with it by telling him when I'm confused.
Right.
Why did your family do it that way? I don't understand. What's this about? Or he'll say he doesn't ask me as many questions about my family as I ask about his. But God allowed me to spend time with them. I was avoiding it because I was scared.
Right. So all the things that you thought you knew.
Right.
Right.
I was afraid.
Absolutely.
So we had our their first family reunion. We went and spent the weekend there. I had the best time because I'm just such a big baby. Because a person is totally different than you, it doesn't make them bad.
That's right. That's right.
I didn't know that. I thought if you didn't live the life that my daddy taught me, then you're bad people. That's not true.
Yeah.
What God wants is for you to spend time. Don't avoid them.
Yeah.
Spend time with them. You don't have to have the Bible. You don't have to have your cross on. You don't have to pull out a prayer.
Come on, Auntie.
Just
Preach.
sit and be.
Yeah. Preach.
And the respect that I get from his family is unreal.
Yeah.
It's just unreal.
The thing is, my family, you know, I wanted her to meet them the way they was, so I didn't tell them
Scared me
that.
half to death the first time.
I didn't tell them that I was bringing her.
Right.
Because I want her to see this before we got married.
The truth, right?
I want her to see my family,
right,
and see how they live,
right?
Because this is my family,
right?
That means what they do. That don't mean I'm doing it,
right?
But you need to see my family.
This is who I love.
Right. This is who I love.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
So when she did that, she was sitting back there text.
I was texting my sister Ruth. I don't know what's going on. I'm scared.
So they sitting back there drinking and they partying.
I smelled that weed stuff too.
What? First of all, if y'all could see her face, oh my God.
You should have seen her.
I love my auntie.
I thought the cops were going to come and haul us all off to jail.
You just knew you were going to jail that day, huh?
That was the day.
I did.
She did.
It scared me so bad.
She did. But you see, I want her to see that. And then I left and went with my nephew to the store and left her with one of my nieces. Keisha is one of the best nieces I have, you know, and she has boundary, and I knew she was going to be safe with her. Boy, when I got back there, my wife said, "Don't why you leave me?"
Because I didn't think that was right. I was new. I didn't know anybody.
But you had to, Auntie.
Yeah,
you had to experience it. When I got with Sanchez, he kept telling me, "You won't." I said, "Baby, I just want to meet the Crenshaws. Like, I want to meet that side of the family because I've met you guys."
Right.
Totally
took me over there, and the Joker left me in the house with his grandma, his aunts, and all his cousins. Aunt Connie, I was like,
I did it the exact same way. Uncle Wardell did you.
I'm from New York. I'm thug passion, but I was a little bit scared of his grandmama. I was like, wait, because she was like, I know you from somewhere. I'm like, no, ma'am, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. He came back. I was like, did you really just leave me?
I know. I was hurt.
He was like, you either want to meet the family or you don't. This is what I'm not sugarcoating my family. I'm not trying to pretend they something, because if you're connected to me, they're connected to you, and this is officially your family said. So this is it. This is legitimately it right here. So that's what happened to me, Auntie. I understand.
Happened. And I was upset with him because he left me there, and I don't talk if I'm not comfortable.
She don't.
I don't say a word.
She just look.
And I was like, I was watching, and then, oh my God, by the time Wardell came back from the store, I think my eyes told him a lot. You know, my eyes will speak for me when I can't really talk. But when he came back, I saw them, like 2 or 3 of his nephews sitting on my car. I had never seen that before. I
Get them off my car.
They're on my car.
They sitting on my car.
They're on my car. I was devastated.
Right.
They're on my car. I'd never seen that before.
Right.
And so he got them off the car, and I'm like, oh my! I said, God, I can't do this.
They was mad when I did that though. Who is she?
Right. That's what we do. We sit on cars.
I'm like, they know who I am now. They don't sit on my
car.
No,
they don't.
I want his nephews, and nieces, they love, and his sisters, they all love me. Yeah. And I know they do. Yeah. And it's Aunt Constance. I've been Aunt Constance before the marriage.
Wow.
I've been Aunt Constance. And they know Aunt Constance don't play. Y'all better quit. Aunt Constance don't play. No, I do not. I love you, but you're not going to disobey. You're not going to do crazy stuff around me.
They don't.
You're not going to do that. Because whatever I allow, God is holding me responsible. I'm there.
Right.
I'm responsible.
Yeah.
What I love hearing that as well. That also has a lot to do with you, Uncle.
Yeah.
Because they see the respect and the reverence that you have for her.
Absolutely.
And because you have that, because to be honest, Auntie can say whatever she want to say, but they're going to look to Uncle first.
Right.
And they respect me more.
Right.
Yes.
And because you respect your wife, because you hold your wife to a certain regard, they're going to follow in line because they know, like you said, Auntie, this is a boundary. This is a line we don't cross.
Exactly.
Right.
And so I thank you for that as well.
Yeah.
Because once again, this is your family. Right. Your family knows you better than anybody else.
That's right.
So they know when you're shooting it straight. They know when you coming left.
Right.
So they know. So if Uncle says this woman is important to him, and he's showing us the respect, we know to fall in line. Yes. So I appreciate that on you, because I think a lot of men miss that point.
Yeah.
I think they
because
do too.
a person is only going to treat your wife the way you treat them.
Exactly.
So they're not going to respect her. They're not going to show her reverence. They're not going to look up to her.
That's right.
If you don't do it.
Exactly.
And so I just appreciate you for doing that.
Well,
Yeah.
I promise
I appreciate
you.
it too.
I promise you, your grandmother, before she passed away.
Yes, sir.
I went to the restaurant. She thought I was crazy, but I asked her, I need to go see your mother. And she said, she ain't gonna know you. I said, well, I still need to go see her. So I went to see her, and I kissed her on the forehead, and I said, I'm gonna take care of your daughter. And right then, she said, Jan is in here.
And she never turned her head.
She never turned her head.
She never even looked to see if we were there.
Right.
But she said, Jan is here.
So that's telling me her father was there too.
Right.
You see, but in his spirit. You follow
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
So therefore, and then that's one reason why I want to keep my promise.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
And I'm going to
I done brought a tear to my eye. Go ahead, Uncle. Good gracious.
Well, I've been crying.
Wow.
I'm
You
gonna
can
keep
join
my
me.
promise of what I said
Wow.
to her, and then I know her father is definitely watching me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I have to do what I have to do to keep my promise, because one day I will see him again, and then he'll say, "Well done, my son." You know,
Right.
Oh, because he's going to ask you about it.
oh yeah. But she don't understand this. Her father, when he left this world, he left this world for her to pick up, not to preach,
Right.
but to minister to people.
Sir.
That's why everybody comes to her. Everybody comes to her. I mean, even
Yeah.
my family, they call her
Yeah.
up and they come to her.
they do.
And she's wondering why they coming to me. You know, why they want me to pray? Because they see something different, and you're the one they see. So you're the one they're coming to. So
I just don't like being out front.
But you're not out front.
You know what I'm saying?
You're not out. Here's the thing, Auntie. I think you need to understand. You are not out front. God is out in front, and He's using you as a vessel. Right? So you are not out in front. He's out in front, and He's using you
Right.
as a vessel, because He knows that He has trusted you with little and much, and you have always been accountable for what you do. So He trusts you.
Right.
So y'all when you come in the room, people know when Constance come in the room, sit right, get your life together.
Right.
Stand up straight, sit up straight, get your life
No,
together.
seriously. And that's
Pretty much.
no, and
Yeah.
that's always been the case. Even when I was young, it was always the case.
Yeah.
That there's certain things that we knew. We knew that she was going to love us. We knew that we were going to have fun with her. We knew that she was just going to bring a light. But we also knew, don't play with her.
right.
Yeah.
Don't play with her at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Because there's always been this thing about my auntie, and it's I love and I miss my grandfather tremendously, because he was another person. There was always this thing about him that you knew when he walked in a room, there was a shift. He didn't have to open. He didn't have to open his mouth.
Yeah.
There was a shift.
Right.
You know, you hear people in church talk about a shift in the atmosphere. There was a true shift in the atmosphere when the late, great Reverend J.C. Robinson walked into the room.
Right.
True.
His daughter's the same way.
Yeah.
There is a shift
Yeah.
when she walks in the room. My auntie does not have to open her mouth. But when she walks in a room, you know there is a difference.
Right, and that's the reason why some of your people disagree with me, because, and God showed me this, and He said, you know, you have a chain on a bike. If you take one of them links out, that bike would not ride no more. So, what do you mean by that? But He was trying to say a missing link. When you took her from where she was at for all these years, she was the one praying. She was the one, you know, getting everybody in order.
Right.
So now it's time for her to move out, move on. So they got a little upset about it, and I already knew about it. I knew it. He told me this. I knew this was gonna happen. But the good thing about it is only thing that it was just getting them prepared to get to know me.
Yeah. On your own terms.
Right.
Right.
And now, you know, it's like, wow, you know, he was right all this time.
Yeah.
You know, I call them up, hey, you know, and it's good. I sent Benita, our anniversary was a few weeks ago. I bought my wife a beautiful chain. A beautiful chain with a bracelet.
With the bracelet.
It cost me, and she was mad.
He spent too much money for that. He really did.
No such thing.
See, it's not the money.
Okay.
It's not the money.
Right.
You know, I feel good when I do stuff like
felt
that.
good wearing it too.
Tell it, Auntie.
But she was kind of upset because she handles the budget. She budgets the money.
Right.
But I feel this way. It's nothing I can. If I can get it for her, I want to get it for her.
Right.
Because she deserves it.
Right.
And she deserved it because she brought me out of a mummy situation. Let's put it that way, because I was so wrapped up, didn't know where to go. It was tight, you know. So I had to break from that.
Yeah.
And she showed me. So therefore, I got to take care of what God gave.
What God gave you. So
go
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I want to touch on just one thing, because it's something Auntie has been saying throughout. It's like throw away that list, and God told you to throw away the list. What I don't want people to misunderstand, there's a difference between throwing away that list and lowering your expectations.
Exactly.
There's a huge difference, because I think what happens is a lot of people get that mixed up, that my list or my expectations. No, they're two separate things.
Yeah.
Because Auntie threw away her list, she didn't lower her expectations.
At all.
She didn't come down off her standards of what she wanted or what she was expecting or how she wanted to be treated.
Right.
She opened herself up to what God wanted for her.
Exactly.
And so I want the family to understand there is a difference in that.
Yeah.
So when you're having that conversation and God is telling you to throw away your list, He's not telling you to throw away your expectations.
Exactly.
He's not telling you to accept less. He's not telling you to have someone come into your life that's going to mistreat you or that's going to, as my wife loves to say, bring you off that wall.
Yeah.
Bring you off Nehemiah's wall.
That's my Nehemiah 6:3.
Yeah, it's not that. It's you're opening up yourself to truly allow God to come in and bring you not what you want, but what you need.
Exactly.
Because in this conversation we've been having, what I keep hearing is Uncle Wardell was not what you wanted. He's what you needed.
Amen.
At that time in your life and going for the remainder
of your life.
For the seasons that you're going to walk into.
You need him.
Uncle Wardell is what you needed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of people get that mixed up, that
absolutely.
when God, because I'll be honest, Ange is not what I wanted.
He wasn't on my list
22
either.
years ago when we first met. Yeah. I was looking, and Auntie, you know, and we've talked about this on the podcast, I was just coming out of a bad marriage myself at that time.
Yeah.
A marriage I never should have been in. I said I'll never get married again.
Yeah.
And then B, I said if I do, she gonna be the Puerto Rican
or Chinese.
Or Chinese. She gonna be
Asian.
She gonna be Asian.
He had a list too, y'all.
Long black hair.
Yeah, he
I
had
said,
it.
that's what I'm going. I'm gonna be United Nations out here is what I'm gonna do. And what God did is God brought me a 4 foot.
I'm 5'2",
blonde.
5'2",
4 foot.
5'2".
Give her all of her inches.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank
blonde,
you. Yes.
Loudmouth New Yorker. That's not what I wanted, but that's what I needed.
Yeah.
And for the remainder of my life, that's what I need.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I just wanted to say that to the family. Please don't misunderstand.
Yes.
Throwing away your list is not throwing away your expectations.
Yeah.
That's right.
And also,
not.
what happens also too, you open yourself up for greater.
Yes.
Right? Because we always want to live under these expectations, but God's plan is greater
It is
than
greater.
anything that we can think about. So you open up yourself for greater. Because for me, when I met Sanchez, I'm like, first of all, and everybody in the world know me and Sanchez are 10 years apart. First of all, we are a blended family. Second of all, he is light skinned. I did not want not near light skinned brother. I thought they was pretty boys, and I was like, bruh, I need me a dark skinned brother.
But
I want a dark skinned brother. I want him to be bald, have some dreads. I mean, let's work this thing out, you know. And God was like, the problem is you had that already, and look how that worked out.
Okay.
You've had that already. I want to give you greater. So everything that you think you want, I can't. The bottom line, the way I felt the Lord was talking to me, like everything that you think you want, I can't trust you. Because your list, this is a mess. So trust my master plan. Trust my list. Because who he is what you need for the rest of your life.
I follow you.
Right? And I'm going to follow you.
Yes.
You know, so it's been this incredible journey. So we do this thing.
Yeah.
We do this thing.
Unfortunately, we've come to that time.
I can just talk to y'all all week. We can just talk all day.
So
oh
this
my
is-
gosh.
But one thing we always do on the Crenshaw Corner before we wrap up is that we always ask for a final thought. So just a final thought to leave with the family.
Yeah.
So I know we're throwing this on you guys, so I'm going to give you just a few moments to think. So I'm going to start with Ange.
Yeah.
So, babe, what's your final thought?
My final thought is I'm gonna go back. Sanchez, we need to go in prayer because this here done made me. We need to go deeper. This over here, this I mean, we pray, we fast, everything, but they made me want to go deeper. I don't even know.
We examine our whole relationship over here.
We're gonna have a long car ride, baby. We need
We're gonna talk about it.
We need to go deeper. But no, what it is that again, I don't even think that I need people to understand that it's not about the length of time that you've been married. Is what I've learned from you guys. It doesn't matter about the length of time, but it's about when you are doing it in order.
Right.
Exactly.
When you are doing it in order. And so that's not even a final thought. That's just a statement. And I just thank you guys so much for, again, teaching me and Sanchez. We've been married. You guys been married less, but you have taught us some stuff in the time that we have sat here with you. And I just want to say thank you so much that we are humbled and honored to even be in you guys' presence in this marriage and this love fest over here on this couch.
That's what it is. So, Uncle, what's your final thought for the family?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, my final thought is me and my wife is very happy together, and I just want to make it even better. And, I got plans that she knows I'm planning because like I said, she handles the money in there. But I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna go, and then that's it. But I would like for the family, your family,
Yes, sir.
her family, all get together.
Yeah.
And that was my goal. That's one reason why I met you. And I told my wife, they living around the corner, and you're not going to say, "Hey, how you doing?" It's not that type. And,
Right.
and so, getting together is what my final thought is. Getting the family together.
Getting the family
Understand.
together.
Right.
Amen.
Auntie,
Yeah.
what's your final thought for the family?
I want to say thank you for having me here. It's only God who did this. Always put God first. Follow His path.
Yeah.
He has the plan.
Yeah.
And it may be hard. It may be frustrating. It may be cumbersome to us. But follow the process.
Amen.
God knows what He's doing.
Yes, He
Yes,
does.
And throw that list away, but not your standards.
Come
There
on.
we go.
Come on now.
That's a good one.
I love
That's
that.
good,
Throw your
Auntie.
list away, but not your standards. I love
Put
that.
your cash app, Auntie, so I can give you uncle a tithe and offering. What's your cash app?
I'm gonna keep my final thought very simple.
I knew you was gonna say this simple. You always say this, baby, but go ahead.
No, the one thing that I think is a common theme throughout this entire episode is that every day Uncle chooses
Yes.
to love my auntie. And every day my auntie chooses
Yeah.
to love my uncle.
Yeah.
It is a choice. It is a conscious choice and decision
Yes.
that they make every day.
Yeah.
Every day they wake up to choose to keep God first
Yes.
and their marriage a very close second.
Yeah.
Yes.
And to the family, that's what I want to leave you with.
Yeah.
Choose. Make it a conscious decision.
Yeah.
If your marriage right now is not where you want it to be, choose to make it better. If you feel like your marriage is good, choose to push it.
Like Uncle said, make it better.
Make it better. That's something. There's a line from the Wonder Woman I always quote that I love. I say, "Our life is good, but it could be better."
It could be better.
And just because you think you're living a really good life right now, it's always something different
Yeah.
that you can be doing. Push it a little more.
Yeah.
So family, just once again, every day that you wake up, every day that God allows you to see another day and your spouse to be with you another day,
Yeah.
choose to love them.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the final thought, babe.
You made me think of something because I always do this.
You always do.
I always do it.
Talk to me. What's
But
up?
I was listening to what Uncle and Auntie was saying, and what I heard was, which is in the Bible, I'm a paraphrase, where the Bible says that take your mundane stuff, your everyday stuff, and make it extraordinary. And I think people need to understand, because sometimes your marriage is going to feel mundane. It's going to feel regular. I go to work, I come home, I cook, I clean, I get ready for the next day, I fix lunch, and it's going to seem, but God is saying every day that I make it extraordinary. It could just be one little thing that can make it extraordinary. So I'm just want to remind the family, when you feel mundane, know that the Bible says take your ordinary day and make it extraordinary. So it could just be something simple as, like Uncle said, putting a rose on the bed, or coming and watching TV together, or doing something together. it can be extraordinary every single day. That's my final thought.
You know, there's one thing Uncle said. Uncle said a lot.
Yeah,
he said
did.
a lot of gems, which I love.
I hope y'all had some pen and paper.
Hope
yeah,
that the men were paying attention to.
Please, men, pay attention.
But it's one thing that Uncle said that actually makes me want to re-examine myself when it comes to you. Uncle said that every day he comes home, he's excited to see Auntie. He said he's excited. He said, I don't know if people actually heard him, but he said he just comes home and just sits and looks at her. Because that's how excited he is, which makes me ask myself, do I do that same for you? Do I allow life to get in the way sometimes?
I'm about to say the distractions of life.
Do I allow the distractions of life to get in the way sometimes to not enjoy just being in your presence? And I would say that for men and for women, ask yourself that question. Are you allowing the rigors of life to get in the way of enjoying what God blessed you with? So that's why I'm gonna end it, because we could go another hour. So I'm gonna end it there.
They was out here teaching. I was out here teaching today.
Mr. and Mrs. Scott, thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you for bringing your wisdom and your love. Bae, thank you.
Thank you.
Because this was your idea. So thank you for having this idea.
I wanted to see them.
Family, we love you. We thank you for listening. However you're listening, whether it's on iTunes, whether it's Podbean, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Google Podcasts, whether it's Amazon Music, whether it's iHeartRadio, or on our own personal website at www.thecrenshawcorner.com. Of course, once again, we are an interactive podcast, which means we can be found on the socials. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, all in the Crenshaw Corner. And of course, you can email us at any time at thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com. Once again, thecrenshawcorner@gmail.com. Make sure you check us out on YouTube. It's The Crenshaw Corner.
Come on, check us out.
Make sure you subscribe, you share, you like, you comment, you click that notification bell to be notified when the newest video has been uploaded. And family, as always, welcome to our journey.
We love you guys. Bye. Bye-bye.